was a joy that no one feels it. Like you need to experience that. Manufacturing unit to a third party, and I saw the contract and I was like, oh god, पूरा that time 20 साल हुए थे, 20-25 साल का पूरा मेहनत खराब हो गई. So I finished my law. I did my full 5 years law, and then joined family business to thinking that but dad ऐसा कुछ करे नहीं. Well, I already have 100 franchise partners with me. They are also eager to grow with me. They know the business inside out. So they are not, even for me to handle a existing group is so easier because, they are not like, आज sale नहीं हुआ, कल बारिश हुआ तो मेरा sale down हुआ.
Joining us today is a visionary leader and the director of Naturals Ice Cream, Mr. Srinivas Kamath. With a background in law and a heart entrenched in the spirit of a sportsman, Mr. Srinivas brings a unique perspective to the table as he shares his journey transitioning into family business and explores the intersections between personal passions and professional pursuits.
Srinivas, basically, we don't have anything set questions. These are just written for your reference. We'll have a good conversation and
it would have been a tough one.
So, coming to this, like family business, like you are from a legal background and we were just researching. So we went to your Twitter handle. So we have done full stalking. Okay. Apologies for that.
All right.
And we saw that sportsman by heart.
Yeah.
So sportsman, a legal background, an FMB program in SPJMR, and then joining the family business.
Yeah.
Did it come instinctively that you wanted to join or you wanted to be the person who wants to run an ice cream company, or was there something else that you followed?
No, I mean, I never thought I would join family business or, will be doing something related to ice creams. Law was, yes, something, a choice. It was my own choice. So I could, after 12th, could take into what I wanted to continue. I didn't have the maths or engineering, physics or something. So I had to do law. I chose law. And till about 3 years into law, I was pretty sure I was going to be a lawyer. I was enjoying that phase of studying constitution. I don't know what kind of lawyer would I be, not a with a civil background or a criminal background, but was just discovering law interesting bit. I had a liking for history a lot, so that's how law and history always played a very interesting balance. So that's what I thought. Like I'll be a reasonably good lawyer. So in the third year, when we were traveling to US, and my brother-in-law, he was driving. I was sitting in front, and my brother-in-law knows that I love cars. So I was getting very excited to see all the sports cars passing by. And, and my brother-in-law just pointed out, who must be driving that car. Definitely a lawyer. So because a lawyer makes a lot of money. So good career choice that you have taken. My dad was sitting behind. And he patted me. Lawyer को पैसा कौन देता मालूम है? Businessman. So no, I mean that's that in a way. After 10 years, I thought it's actually businessmen are the ones who create. The entrepreneurs. Why they call entrepreneurs? Because they're involved in creating unique proposition, unique value, bringing from creating job, creating new product, just shaping up the country. I didn't want to get into all that, but that's just the fact that creating something of your own was a joy that no one feels it. Like you need to experience that. So that I started getting inclined to business. Like I said, I was doing largely secretarial work for that because कोई lawyer है तो every law question was bounced at me. Be it society law, some land dealing, which they're specialists for that. You can't ask a dentist about what is ammunition, or you can't talk about hard deals. So but no, lawyer है मतलब पूछ लेता. So but that allowed me to understand each aspects of law. And there was a time when my dad was almost entering into contract of contracting a manufacturing unit to a third party. Okay. And I saw the contract and I was like, oh God, पूरा that time 20 साल हुए थे, 20-25 साल का पूरा मेहनत खराब होने लगी. So I finished my law. I did my full 5 years law, and then joined the family business to thinking that कुछ dad ऐसा कुछ करे नहीं, बनाया हुआ सब मतलब it's not about selling. He was giving the main core secrets of naturals to someone making the product, and he treats naturals as his own baby. Handing over that baby to someone else, अच्छा नहीं लग रहा था.
Funny, you talked about the manufacturing. I mean, Godwin was talking about manufacturing and retailing. You can ask that, no? Manufacturing and retailing.
So yes, we saw that you separated into two business, the retail aspect. So like, what was that? So was it just to
Yeah,
make retailing easier, or
yeah, to make it easier from all the angle, like because as a manufacturer and opening a retail outlet, I was not able to segregate what the costs were like, because see, I'm buying at a raw material level and selling at a market level. The profitability of a store would be very different. What I wanted to get into retail. So up till 2014, we never had our own store other than juice store, the first store. Till then, we didn't have our own second outlet. But seeing a lot of the changes, the development happening in the retail market, where I always believe that you can't just be alone relying on the product. With product, you need service level, you need the ambience level, and I've somewhere felt like I could be the best example for my franchise, and that's how I started opening my own stores, separated the manufacturing activity to a retail store, where we opened our own stores, more like to set a example stores for the franchise, like how a good store should run, like what should be the unit economics, how should be the profitability. So that's the reason I can't have a manufacturing unit running a store, so I ran it like a franchise. And that doesn't mean that I'm there sitting at the counter like a franchise does. Like I can run it right from my factory. I can manage with having right set of people how to run it like a franchise store, and that's the idea of opening a separate unit came into being.
So what is the role of what is the rules of franchisee? Like if today I want to start a naturals franchisee, how can I approach you? How can I do it? What sort of requirements do I need to have?
Well, unfortunately, yeah, we have completely stopped giving new franchise.
Okay.
When I say new franchise, it doesn't mean we're not opening new stores. We are opening stores, either opening our own stores, the company operated ones, or opening through our existing franchise. Now it's very simple. I already have 100 franchise partners with me. They are also eager to grow with me. They know the business inside out. So they are not, even for me to handle a existing group is so easier, because they're not like आज सेल नहीं हुआ, कल बारिश हुआ तो मेरा सेल डाउन हुआ, कम हो रहा है सेल्स, ज़्यादा नहीं हो रहा है, or something like that. Those kind of GST problem, return, they've lived with us since last 25-30 years. They know the system very well, and I'm more comfortable. Like I can just then give my time to manufacturing, and let the store be run by people who have already been doing it. And the next generation also is coming in, so they're also looking for more opportunities, like where I can open a second or third outlet. And that arrangement that's been going on is जो चल रहा है उसको क्यों बिगाड़ना?
You talking about product and tender coconut?
Oh yeah.
So one question I had is, so I'm from Kerala,
Yeah.
and we are known for coconuts.
Yes.
So why Mangalore, and why not a production plant in Kerala?
So Mangalore, one, it was our own hometown. My father always wanted, once he came from Mangalore, and he wanted to go back.
And
Whenever he's done with setting up business, he always dreamt that one day he'll run a farm. Because he comes from farmer's background. His father was a farmer. He's like, "Ek farm banayenge." Incidentally, like Mangalore, Kerala, and Tamil Nadu, that region, it's a hub for coconut. And Mangalore is incidentally happens to be hometown. That's the reason we are there. Kasaragod is hardly two hours from Mangalore. So maybe next time. But Mangalore has that heart for us.
so I had another question.
Yeah.
So you did say that when you entered,
Yes.
so the business was already running for, let's say, 2 decades at least, and you were new into the business.
Yeah.
So there are people who have already been in positions, who've been doing this for a long time,
Yeah.
including your father, and you're new into this.
Yeah.
And when you wanted to build the service, you
Yeah.
wanted to have a service aspect.
Yeah.
So how did you, let's say, build the credibility, or convince people who have already
Yeah.
been there to maybe make a change?
So, the biggest challenge for a second generation owner joining a family business is that he is treated as boss from day one. It was very awkward. So no one was.
It's a challenge.
It's challenge actually, because you expect something वो नाराज होगा, नहीं सुनेगा, or he won't listen to instead, but he's just obedient because the owner has said, the Kamath sir का ही लड़का है यार, वो सुनना पड़े, but don't apply their mind. That became very problem. They were listening but they're not really doing it. Now as a result, what happened was all the people who are working, and that's a typical of family business, is where everyone is doing everything. So you had an accountant hired for accountant job, but he was also doing replying to emails to customers. Now what happened was जब accounts का काम आया तो email नहीं replying that, so that got ignored. जब वो ईमेल कर रहा था यहाँ पर दूसरा कुछ सप्लायर का प्राइस बढ़ गया, so that's a mismanaged, and we are very reluctant to hire new people outside the family domain. That's the first thing I told dad, like, let's open a separate company. That's the reason the retail company came in, and we'll hire only outside professionals who are there for as per the merit, not because someone gave you recommendation कि इसको job चाहिए आप ले लो. So that's how it happened, and that allowed me to, in a way, gave me a freedom to run the way I want, and run in a way that it'll be eventually approved by my father, my mother, the people involved in the business. Franchise would say, okay, there's an actually life example. It's not just because he's a owner's son, he's saying, and that should be listened. But he's running a store successfully. He's getting the sales, getting the revenue. We are, in fact, the first store that we opened was a old store that we had taken over. So that was a life example, because you had a history of last 10 years sale, and the new management or new store, that company that takes over and does it well, what was the kind of sales growth you have brought in? A simple implementing very simple standards of service, ensuring right product was there at the right time, adequate quantity, adequate service level, nothing different. After all, we are an ice cream parlor. We're not a fine dine restaurant where everything has to be high. This is just simple. If a customer is walking in, nice, smile and give it. That's it.
People should come into their pajamas and have.
Yeah, exactly. They should not feel bad or awkward. Like, "Arey, kya ho gaya?" That's like.
So when we were talking about product, I think you had a question about product thing.
So, sir, in the session, we had a lot of discussion about Bonta factory.
Yes.
Because, when naturals comes into anyone's mind,
Yeah.
tender coconut is the first thing that pops up.
Yes.
It's everyone's favorite, right?
Yeah.
So, could you tell us how was this invented, this product, and what is basically the product creation strategy behind it?
If you are creating any new flavor, like what level of checks do you think into? How do you create? What's the journey of product creation when it comes to naturals?
See, a lot of the products that we have in our menu is by in our own day-to-day experience of things. Like coconut water, everyone knows the coconut malai. That's the it's actually there is a in our community we call it we give it the pancha amrit, which is like before having a meal, you take it, which is made of coconut malai, honey. So that memory is there. Like my father, that's in 90s, he had that memory, and he want to recreate the flavor. Now what happened was that from 84 to 90, when we were just growing, the popularity had just risen, there were many other brands were opened. A lot of people, how to differentiate like in the market. So we had to create something product which was new, very different, was not there. So that's how Coconut was born, and that was born because of his own childhood experience of going to the temples, having that Panchamrit, and that's how the memories of food were created.
So you were talking about coconut, and you said that a lot of other players entered into the market when you were
the competition was growing.
Competition was growing, and whenever we think about naturals, we have a case study also. We have heard about this as well, and it was Madhya's question.
Okay.
So you can have all of this.
Yeah, sure.
So we know about this whole fiasco which happened, the legal battle which you were involved in, when there was another company that had tried an infringement. There was a trademark infringement case which was going on. How do you fight? Like, how do you get into this? Like, how do you differentiate? You mentioned, because it's not just about product anymore, because people are copying the product.
Yeah.
When we have heard Potter 5 forces, or we have the Potter generic strategy, we understand that naturals work on a differentiation strategy.
Mm-hmm.
When we enter the store, we have an experience, that's a differentiation.
Yeah.
Or when we are having any natural size, it's a differentiation. So just on that line, how do you differentiate yourself from these other manufacturers going forward, going every day, and because some of them are even trying to copy the name. So what's the differentiation part?
See, differentiation part is what we need. We can do whatever we want. Like we can create a new logo. We can give a mascot. A lot of people do that. KFC has that uncle, the beard uncle. So I could also do it. So that there are a lot of strategies to differentiate. But it's what the customer feels like. Does he feel that okay, this is original naturals or this is duplicate naturals? That matters. Now we have fought many. We have filed many infringement suits against a lot of copycat brands. But each case is a very different dynamics. But what was happening was in the online space, people were getting confused with the particular brand in a very different way because people have not entered the store. They didn't have the store that time, or did not feel the brand. They just saw the name, and that was very difficult. That was a challenge, and that's how we took. Not just then. In fact, if you have read the case, it's still sub judice, so I can't be really
that's why we're
discussing
not taking
that.
names.
Yeah, so it's very famous. You do it, Google it. There were other multinationals as well, including leading online aggregators. So we also dragged in because they equally played a role in promoting that brand. I hope I've all
So just a follow-up question. So like you mentioned, there's a very less amount of marketing spend as such for the company.
Okay.
So when you say differentiation, when there's so many copycats and you're not able to, let's say, give that differentiation experience on an online platform,
Yeah.
how do you, let's say, put it across to the consumer, especially with a low marketing spend?
Yeah.
So when you're talking about 4 P's promotion, without
Yes.
a heavy marketing budget, how do you promote?
It's still
Yeah. So when for us the promotion bit comes in at the store, our store becomes a promoting place over you. Like at the store design, the people, the sampling happens there. Our story, you'll see each store will have a different aspect. If I from Cochin, like
Yes.
so Cochin has a very coconut-based story where the origins of coconut came in. Whereas in Jaipur, we have the Jaipuri culture of the very different how we make ice creams handmade, very handicraft-based Jaipur. So each store will have its own story, and that allows us to bring out the essence of the brand without being over advertising like we are so good, we are great and this thing. So store ambience plays a very important, store selection plays very important for us. A store is the medium for marketing for us, so that's where the budget goes. So it's not entirely true that we don't spend in marketing, we spend in marketing in those
different.
Great.
So,
Please, that's what I'm coming to.
so you're talking about 4 P's. So I guess today we learned about the 5th P of marketing, which is Pav Bhaji, which is endless customers, I think. So I just had a question that at this point where people are moving towards vegan options,
Yes.
are you also planning in that direction? And what is your strategy?
Yes,
around
so I'll get into something. My daughter is milking intolerant, so she can't have my own ice cream. So and that's the reason I'm gonna create a vegan, not because I'm facing a problem with this thing, but let's understand the challenges around the vegan. Or people are opting, which is great. So we are already have worked on one evil, the sugar part. I'm saying it's evil because I know that my dad is a diabetic and we are an ice cream man, so we have to live with that. So we are trying to already have no added sugar range. Vegan is again a lifestyle that a lot of people have taken. Could be health reason, belief reason, whatever. But that's where the consumers are going, and we will go. And we have developed a product, and you'll be seeing that. But do I feel that will overtake the other revenue sales? No. Treat ice cream as what it is. It's pure joy. Love it. It's indulgence. Indulgent. That's the extra part. Okay, you feel today you don't want to eat too much. You want to eat the alternative ice cream which are not made from milk or milk fat. Great, can have it. But yes, ice cream is for indulgence.
So do you think that's majorly because you're focused on India as well? You see a lesser proportion of vegan, and because we have a lot of
Yeah.
dependency on milk and milk
Yes.
products in India.
Yes.
So do you think that is one of the reasons that maybe not so focused on vegan products?
So, okay. So, what I love about vegan is that, there are other alternatives. We don't necessarily have to call it vegan.
Yes.
Like sorbets are by default vegan.
Vegan,
Because they're made from
There's no more.
rice and that's such. But that can be a great USP, and that we need to learn from the Western world, and how they sort of package the product and sell it. Like, healthier side ko bhi laga sakte hain, but the tastier side ko bhi laga sakte hain. Sorbet iced lollies are, one of the tastiest things, and we did have that in our childhood, right?
Barf ka gola.
Yes, that's vegan ice cream. I mean, we can't call it ice cream technically, but yeah, vegan way. That's how it is. That's, we need to, all brands need to come together and say, like, but at the same time, selling frozen dessert as an ice cream also is wrong. Like, using non-milk fat and then labeling it as ice cream also is wrong. So it's a balance of everyone needs to come together.
In the lecture also you mentioned that you guys focused on covering the area, cities, and then expanding and
Yes.
entering a new store.
Yes.
So is there any particular reason of going slow and gradually, or
You become the
Somehow.
king of particular place. Like you become the king of Mumbai, then you went to Pune, then you went to Ahmedabad. Like there is a strategy, like Gujarat.
Yeah, so we see all our location are planned as per the NH4 highway, the railway route. NH4 covers all the Bombay, Pune, it goes down till Goa. So we first concentrated in that southern western region. So all our stores were right from Satara, Sangli. That's very easy. So whatever transport I'm sending, there are multiple stores to deliver. So keeping the cost low. So even today also, like if I'm sending my stuff to Delhi, I would be looking at that route. Vapi, Surat, Vadodara, Jaipur.
Route optimization.
So I won't just straight away open in Agra or this thing which is outside my route. I will open in those routes where I can cater. I have a certain density of outlets that I can cater to. Like I said, we supply every day. So we have to make sure that being efficient also.
Excellent. So another part of Jigyasa, as I mentioned, was Manthan. So we'll have a small, Maria will have a small round with you.
Okay.
We'll try to pitch in wherever we can, but it's time that we ask everyone around here, which is your favorite naturals flavor. This is something, so it could be controversial as well. Which is your favorite flavor, sir?
I love mango. I can eat mango anytime. Mango is my मतलब वो उससे ज़्यादा सोचना भी नहीं पड़ता है, वो ऐसा है तो खा लूँगा. But lately, I just love the orange pistachio.
Orange pistachio.
Yeah, it has that old memory of orange barfi जैसा taste. That's something, Yeah, it's अभी आ रहा है. It's great. It's the nice. Took us a lot of effort to make that flavor also, because orange again it has a high water content. So water is enemy of ice cream, so that it gets crystallized and this thing. So you have to balance that flavor and get the water content equally right in the ice cream.
Maria, say something other than take tender coconut.
I like Chico.
Chico.
Yes.
Queso. I know.
Oh, yeah, Queso Pista is an old blockbuster. It's there from classic.
can we go to tender coconut?
I'm a Sitapal and Alfonso.
Okay.
Both these flavors, whenever I get it, I'll stay there. I like the natural food. I think. Amazing.
Yes.
Now you can ask your Manthan question.
So these are just short, let's say, rapid fire, quick first thoughts that come
You
into
took
your mind.
that name, Maria. We discussed that. Will not say rapid fire.
Okay, so well, like you mentioned as well, especially when you're working in a family business, there is a new element of challenge there, or handling of relationships there. So when you absolutely feel like giving up or you don't see a way out, what is one thing that you tell yourself, you're like, to get through whatever?
Yeah, it's more of. I've seen worse, so this is nothing.
Over time,
Yeah, so
You
this
get
is
used to it.
you get used to it. So I've seen all the aspect of 40 years, so it will happen.
okay.
I won't allow to take that much pause, right? If it's
You mentioned 40 years, right? What advice would you give to that young Srinivas that like 40 years or like 20 years, 25 years when you were starting on to the business, 2009. If you were that, Srinivas, what advice would you give to him?
If I was starting the business,
So today, if you had an advice for a 2009 Srinivas, what would that be?
finance lawyer. Finance is something because I still struggle. So I, in my work wise, finance is something you need that skill. Like, you can't be lazy about saying that that's not my forte or don't have the background. Learn it. Every business owner needs to know it is basic finance. Right? And second is like spend more time with consumers. It's easy to get locked in your office cabin, meet your own people, set of people like your people, dealers and vendors, but they are the main guys. So I would be definitely spending more time in the market.
Experience. What separates like good leadership from great leadership? And who's your favorite leader of all time?
I think that grit is the word. A great leader will be persistent. Like, he'll just stick to his vision and do it. He won't be, like give time to his whatever vision that he has. Won't be swayed away by shortcomings or something. He'll stick to it. And that's I've seen all the great leaders. That's one thing common. Be it my dad, it's okay, or other businessmen I've seen. I think from grit wise, of course, we talk about Steve Jobs as a common example, but a leader as in one individual because
So you might like aspects of certain persons.
it's always like
There's no perfect example.
I'll
There's
have
good.
Dhoni's coolness and I'll have Virat's batting skills.
You wish we had the perfect player.
Okay, so as we're all MBA students and you've been a student as well,
Yeah.
and been there after you've had the journey after being a student as well. So, piece of advice for all of us who are planning to get out there, create our own visions, achieve our own visions.
I think just make things simple. That's first thing. If you make things simple, like don't complicate things, make it simple, then that's the reason you can stick to it for a long time. I think that's the time is what you have to give. Try to give time to your consumers, dealers, your people, your family, and stick to it. Try to make operations very simple, day to day, very simple, so you're enjoying that life of working. You don't feel tired if you're working 12 hours or 14 hours. Even 5 hours is enough if you do it good, simple things. Keep it simple. That's not complicated. My answer should also not be so complicated.
So, since this is a part of our Jigyasa series, so
Okay.
I mean, we cannot miss this question. How would you encapsulate the essence of Jigyasa in one word?
Not just this series, sir, but Jigyasa as a term. कि किसी भी चीज को जानने की जिज्ञासा.
Yeah,
You have
it's
mentioned grit.
Yes.
How would you encapsulate this sentence, Jigyasa?
I think it's always about updating or upgrading yourself to peer-to-peer learning. And what I saw, I mean, I'm like not because I was invited as a naturals owner or something, but I was part of being a student here and sharing that experience with the fellow new buddy students is always interesting. And learning their question, through their questions, you also learn what they are going through, what sort of challenges they are facing. So it's always good to go back, being a part of the student I was and learning from others.
I think we can end on that note. Learning from students. We can learn from each other since we have learned from our senior, super senior. On that note, I'll thank our audience and I'll thank Srinivas sir for this wonderful podcast.
Thanks.
And
Being very.
Thank you.
As we draw the curtains on this insightful episode of Jigyasa, we extend our heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed guest, Mr. Srinivas Kamath. His wisdom, experiences, and candid insights have illuminated our understanding in profound ways. To our listeners, thank you for tuning in. We hope you found this episode of Jigyasa both inspiring and educational. So until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep innovating. This is Team Jigyasa signing off.